market's a little bit higher this morning. Let's take a quick look at the 30-minute on the SPY. So after last week's rally, we had this hard pullback on Monday. We rallied back, higher low. See if we can make a higher low today. It's setting up pretty good on the daily. So we've already talked about the top end from early March, and then the lower high. And so people are looking at this as a potential topping pattern, but the issue is that gap down was bought so aggressively for 2 days, then continued to grind higher for a couple of days, and we have this pullback, and it's setting up like a flag, like a bull flag. So this morning we're right at this 236. We take out, and technically we would want to see us above 236.5, but the high on the was right here, just above 236. But any type of impulsive, strong move in the first hour or so to like this area here, I would be thinking about a move back up to 238. So then we'll see. So that's kind of where we are on the SPYs. On the IWM side, a little bit different. We're back inside of this consolidation from the beginning of the year. We had this higher consolidation, and then we broke to the downside and brought us right back inside. We tested the bottom here. On the Monday gap down, we actually got below it, but quickly closed above. So this 133.5 to 134 area has held up really well. We talked about this yesterday, how IWM didn't really bounce back much from the lows compared to the SPYs. Now playing maybe a little bit of catch up here this morning in the pre-market. 136.40, 136.50. Well, let's watch on the open to see if this area holds here. It holds. The breakdown, I guess, technically was from 137.50. You have this as well right here. These are the two spots to look at on the upside right here and here. All right, not a lot in the news category today. So Monsanto actually entered into a merger agreement a while back. There's just issues with respect to the governments with a German conglomerate. We got to go back like a year. So it had been rumored for a while. It caused this series of gaps. It was a $90 stock. It gapped up on the stories, gapped up. When the deal was finally announced, it actually sold off. I think it was maybe this area right here. But since then, has been in a slow grind higher. I can't recall. Maybe somebody knows what the takeover price is. But it's the fundamentals of the Monsanto have gotten better over the last year, and it continues to grind higher. 116 is the recent high, and then you got to go back further in time for anything in terms of resistance above there. We got to go back to 2 years ago, since it was in the 120 area. So you can see already spiked higher this morning, spiked as high 17.5, 18. I'm sure some people are offering up there. And now we want to see on the open. It's traded about 100,000 shares. Looks like after the initial spike, some selling came in the 116.5 area. So sellers have started to take control, moving a little bit lower. Spikes up. Do they control here? Does it get below 116? Come in a little bit deeper. That would be the first thing we would look for. We've seen that play out a lot recently on these gap ups. So the thing I just pointed out at the beginning, they're in this merger agreement. I don't know. It's probably getting real close to the takeout price. The numbers themselves are unbelievably good. So there's some different dynamics. I guess my point is there's some things going on here with people who are more familiar with the stock, the fundamentals of having it. So I would just be cautious and really, rather than having a view, just really just pay attention to price action and go totally on that, rather than having an opinion of the numbers were really good. It's above 116. I think it's on a 120. Just pay close attention. It's not, so it's a little bit complicated, but there's not a lot going on today, so that's why it was first. The next one is SRPT, which is another, not the greatest stock, but it is gapping up on an upgrade. And we know when the drug finally got approved, it went to 60, they did a secondary, and then they just crushed it back to the mid-20s where, it spent a lot of time in the last few years. It had one spike, I don't remember this piece of news that drove it up to the high 30s. That was pretty good that day. I think we talked about it that day. In fact, you can go back to January 10th of this year. If you just click on our calendar game plan and see what we were saying and what the news was. But that had a really nice spike to the high 30s. Then it made another spike, but it was lower at 34. Today it's spiking again, perhaps another lower high for levels. 3150, but just looking at the daily, it's 3060 right here. I don't know what this is all about. This is all in the pre-market. I guess it opened this day at, okay, it opened at 3150. That's at 3150. And then it sold off immediately to below 3050. So these are the two spots. It's here and here. Normally does 1.5 million. It'll do heavier than more than 1.5 million today. I'm not incredibly enthusiastic about it. In these situations where it's a tough stock, sometimes what you'll do is you'll watch the first hour, and if it seems to be trading cleanly and pretty good consolidations, then you get a little bit more comfortable with trading it. The next one is NVR, which caught an upgrade with an unusual price, $17 target. It's a $13 stock. I guess that's what caught my attention on that one. And it's been in a really good downtrend since $18. Okay, so the bid's 1370 right now. Put it right here. 1380 and 1430 is resistance. 1430 obviously is this where it broke down from here back in early March. It does a lot of volume, so low risk. I'm sure some people will be looking to fade the upgrade, especially if they get prices above 14 on the open. Went from 1260. Was bought at 1260, and then yesterday was bought. Obviously, was bought ahead of this upgrade. Probably maybe some decent news or some heavy volume. There's probably something going on there. But yeah, spike above 14 right on the open, and I'd see if that fails. Maybe pulls back into the mid 13s. After 10, 10:30, if it's still hanging out in the high 13s, breaks above 14, maybe goes higher. And $17 target seems aggressive. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA actually got down to 100 after hours yesterday. So they downgraded it. Looked like some people were kind of chasing it. Probably some people caught long it because of this move here, and it was accumulated in the 107, 108 area for about a week. Initially, right on the open, it popped back up. You can't even see it on this chart. Let's go to the 5-minute. There it is. So we had 102.5 to 103 as potential support. People did buy it there on the open, and it popped a couple of dollars. That's how I made money in it yesterday. And then later in the day, it took out the morning low and held below 102.50 here, here, and here. And then had another down like 100 spot 50. I think everyone's kind of focused on this 100 level now. I would use that to see how it behaves there. And then if it gets back above 101.20-ish, this down leg low here, people will probably try to push it back up into the low 102s. It's another potential failure to roll over and test 100 again. Holding above this area here, then there's nothing really to 104. So it should be a good trader again today. TXMD, this is the one that I've had since the 5s. I added to it when I looked like it was going to break above 8 after the morning, testing the low, holding higher, holding higher. It did get above there a few times, but eventually rolled over as well. So I'll continue to watch this 8 to 810 area on the upside, and then of course the 750 support level on the downside. PRTK, this one turned out to be sold all day. It topped out in the pre-market at 27.70. I think we had 23 and 24 support. 24 below, held there on the open, looked like it maybe would turn back up, failed. Another one that held below the morning low. Again, we always want to just kind of judge based on, the range from the first 30 minutes. What does it do versus this? Now it looks like it holds here pretty good. It holds higher, but never could get escape velocity to get above here. Eventually came down and tested this again. Tried to test 24, held 24, and then finally broke below. And at that point, I'm sure some people shorted it. It came up another dollar. This morning, this is kind of the spot that I'd be watching to see if it fails and the sellers continue. So Tesla continued its uptrend yesterday. I think from an intraday perspective, certainly it couldn't have behaved any better for us based on pullback areas we highlighted. It was 285 on day one. It was 295 on day two. Day one, it went up $13 from there. Day two went up $9. In this case, you're in this now as a swing. You just want to make sure that it maintains the upward momentum. The easiest way to do that is on day two, you have two spots. You have kind of this area pulled down in the afternoon right in front of 300. You got to give it a little wiggle room, so I would say 299 to 300. You want to see if it can support there. If it can't support there, 295 to 296 where it supported yesterday morning. One of those two spots. Now if it doesn't do that, it actually breaks and it does something like this and then tries to bounce. I remember on day one and day two, after it went down, very strong bounce. Very strong bounce. If it comes down here and only bounces up a few dollars and then goes like that, then you want to get out of your swing position. And then it probably consolidates for a few more days and then we see. So that's kind of the longer term. Oh, Lulu, right. Lulu. So Lulu broke down yesterday. So here was the news. It had held, I think it's 50-60 for a couple of days, and then yesterday, right on the open, spiked up to the prior day's close, and then took that 50-60 out, and below that, it's a good short for another leg down, came down to 49.5. If we look at it on the daily, you can kind of see that sellers are really in control. So you got to go back to here. And so like maybe 48 to 48.5, a little bit more downside there. That would be the next spot if you're looking to see if some buyers step in. But certainly when it took out that 50-50 area yesterday, putting on the short, you're still in it because it closed weak, and just see how this kind of trend plays itself out. As always, be patient and good luck.
Hope you enjoyed that video. You can actually watch that video if you're subscribed to our Trader 90 before the market even opens. What stocks are in play, what levels in those stocks are important, and how we might go about attacking that stock. That's Steve Spencer, 20-year veteran trader, laying it out there every morning before the market even opens. A really, really powerful tool to start your session off on the right foot. So right now we're offering a trial that you can take advantage of to access this meeting and other meetings throughout the day. We have a meeting at 11 a.m. Eastern where you can sit down with Mike Bellafiore and listen to him talk about what's going on during the morning session, what stocks were in play, what the best trade opportunities were, as well as maybe some things that we're looking at heading into the afternoon session. So I really encourage you to take advantage of that trial.